Hi, everyone. In this sales level up, we're going to talk about best practices for groups and projects. Let's jump right in. So, customers typically want to know how to best organize their project data so that they can work together effectively, but also make sure that they are enforcing any visibility and change control policies that they have. As a reminder, a GitLab project is a code repository and other related data for a team to use to collaborate and develop an application. GitLab groups and subgroups are used to organize projects into a hierarchy for cross-team collaboration and aggregate reporting capabilities, and also to define users who will be given specific project access or responsibilities such as merge request approvers or code owners. A group hierarchy can contain up to 20 levels of nesting. If customers are asking you about groups and projects, they might ask you about visibility, permissions, controls, team organization, roll-up reporting, microservices, agile, collaboration, among a bunch of other things. Typically, all of these keywords lead to a conversation about groups and projects. So what is the best way for a customer to implement a group hierarchy and projects in GitLab? It depends. I bet you already knew the answer to that one, huh? So every customer is going to be different, and whether they're using GitLab.com or a self-managed instance will also play a factor here. We want to make sure that customers are carefully considering their needs in their group and project structure before implementing or while they're implementing GitLab, not only their current needs, but future needs as well, so they don't have a bunch of cleanup to do later. So here are some general guidelines. Use a group for teams that will be collaborating together across multiple projects, whether they want to share a Kubernetes cluster across the projects, have a shared container registry and packages, aggregate data for analytics reporting, or use epics and sub-epics for managing their portfolio. They can do all of that within a group, as well as aggregate up security reporting across projects. They can also use tags and milestones or define those at the group level so that there's some consistency in the projects, and that will allow for easier aggregation of data. We want to use a group hierarchy where it makes sense for further aggregation. So a business unit that contains multiple groups of teams working together is an example. We want to use groups for defining users who can approve merge requests in different repos. For example, a security group of all the security personnel that can act as approvers on merge requests. When using groups, specifically if you're just using them for users and not having a project and repo in that user group, you want to disable the ability to create a repo and restrict the ability to create subgroups to only the admin as an example, or the owner. Keep things really clean. And please use the minimum number of levels of nesting that you absolutely need to. The more levels, the more difficult it is to keep track of what permissions everyone has. Now, groups are inherently flexible, and that provides some gotchas. As an example, group membership is inherited downward, so whatever permission a member has at the top level, they're going to have all the way down through the group hierarchy. That trips a lot of customers up in the beginning. Also remember that not all project data is aggregated up to the subgroup and group level from the individual project level. As an example, pipeline execution across projects is currently not aggregated in GitLab. There's a lot to this topic, so this is just scratching the surface. Here are some additional resources to provide a lot of clarity around some of the more complex enterprise implementations of groups and projects. And let's wrap it up. So a project is a source code repository for collaboration and software development, and a group is a way to organize sets of projects. You can organize groups into a hierarchy, and it's best to keep that level of nesting as small as possible. Specific implementations of groups and projects are going to be wildly different among different customers based on their specific needs. If you have any questions, it's a good idea to check out the additional resources or ping the Customer Success Questions channel in Slack. CS Questions. Thanks.